Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Tuesday. So happy to have you along with us, and even happier to have a familiar face, Trent Sisley, joining us from Montverde Academy down in Florida as he is working to get ready for the Chipotle Nationals that will take place at Hamilton Southeastern High School coming up on, I believe, April 2nd is the first day. But first of all, Trent, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy workload, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on again.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I know you've been working hard. What's it like now? The regular season's over. Your focus is towards the Chipotle Nationals. Big legacy for Montverde. They've been there a lot, but this is no country for old men, man. These teams are all tough. That's the best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. This is part of the reason I came down here, just to play in events like this and for it to finally be time, and obviously it's cool. It's in Indiana. Should be a lot of IE fans and, IE people there. So it'll be fun to go home and, play in front of the fans one more time. And then obviously, like I said, this is why I came down here and play in this.
Yeah, and it's a huge event. I was up there last year, and there will be some gigantic names in it, like yourself, but a lot of other guys that you get to play against. And you start out, the first game is against Dynamic Prep. Who are some guys that on there that people might know?
On the other team?
Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal Jr., Jermaine O'Neal's son. Yeah. Jaden Toombs, I think they're both going to SMU, so it should be a good first round, good first matchup.
And when you're getting to play against guys like that, guys who have fathers that played in the NBA, played on the Pacers, but that does that drive you more to succeed, to try to win? I know you were always trying to win, but sometimes there's just those things that give you that extra push.
Yeah, I obviously it's cool to play against guys like that, with bigger names. But at the end of the game, it's just a game and just another game. We're going to go try and do our thing and try to win.
And I've watched a lot of videos, posted a lot of videos this year of you, and it's obvious your game has really you've gotten better and better, which was the whole purpose of going down to Montverde. I remember when you did it, we've talked about it a bunch, but I know it wasn't easy, but it was a grown-up decision for a grown-up reason. How happy are you now after this season of going down there, especially with where your game is?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm playing better. I think I'm a little more confident just based on our schedule this year, the players we played and the teams we played. Like you said, it's a tough decision coming down here, but I think it's benefited me so much this year, and my shot's getting better just consistently every day, having to bring it, stuff like that. So I think it's helped me tremendously.
Yeah, and I've seen you down at the Montverde Invitational. I was down there for that. And when there was AJ DeBanza there. There's all kinds of really good players there that you guys went against, and you guys pulled that out again. That was a tough tournament to win, and you guys beat some really good teams. That has to be a great preparation for once you get to college.
Yeah, for sure. Just the detailed scouting reports, everyday practices, stuff like that, getting ready for those type of guys. And then obviously that translates, and, helps you moving forward, like you said, into college. So that's been huge for me this year.
And I know your family is as happy and proud as can be of you, first of all, making that decision and doing that, because it wasn't easy, but following you along your travels. And now you get to come home to play in the Chipotle Nationals, which is pretty cool to get to end it here in Indiana. That has to be exciting to get to, if you're going to end your high school career, to end it right there in Indianapolis.
Absolutely. It's, my second time playing in the state this year. We were up in LaPorte earlier in the year, which is obviously far away from Bloomington and, far from Indy, but it was still a lot of IU people there. So it was cool to see that support. And then hopefully it'll be like that again in Indy. So it should be a fun time.
Absolutely. For the folks that want to go out there, don't forget April 2nd at Hamilton Southeastern, number 7 Montverde versus number 10 Dynamic Prep. That's at 6:15, the first game. And if they win, they play again the following day. This is a one time and you're out, right?
Single elimination.
So that puts a lot of pressure on you as well, knowing that is sitting there. But how forward are you looking to getting to perform in front of India people, whether it's IU people or just from people from high school, friends, family, because you didn't get to do a lot of that at Montverde.
Yeah, when I left, that was obviously part of the sacrifice. Not playing in, Indiana Association, traveling, to nearby places and, playing in front of hometowns. But, it's been cool, the experience that I've had this year, being able to travel the country, stuff like that. And then, like you said, it'll be fun to be able to come home and play in front of Indiana fans one more time during my high school career before college.
And now, knowing you would have been an Indiana All-Star and in the running for Mr. Basketball, how hard was that to give that up? I know those are individual awards.
Yeah, it was, part of the factor, but obviously I wanted to get myself ready for college, and I made the junior All-Star last year, so I kind of had that. I was in the core group, so I probably would have made the senior one, but that wasn't a huge thing of mine because I already had the junior, so it wasn't too big a deal.
It all counts. We already know you're going to be an all-star, so that's all right. That just goes by. We'll have to just get you a uniform, but then also obviously you're coming to Indiana. That's a huge something you have looked forward to for a long, long time. And there's going to be change at Indiana. There's obviously a new coach there, but there's some history with the Sisley family of sorts. Your brother Blake, who, when he was playing at Evansville, played against Tucker DeVries, who was at Drake at the time.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely watched both of those games. I think they played Drake twice that year. So I was at the Ford Center watching when that happens. It's cool to be coached by him and then play with Tucker.
Yeah, how wild is that? How the world just comes around like that. I mean, to come full swing, that stuff is just crazy.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And you've seen him then, obviously, as a coach when he was at Drake and whatnot. And I know that hasn't been your focus, but from what little you have seen, what are you looking forward to? What do you think about how his teams have played?
Yeah, seems like a really good coach. He made the NCAA tournament, a lot when he was at Drake. And like you said, my brother being in the Missouri Valley. So, I obviously know about him a little bit, kept up with Drake when he was there a little bit. So it'll be, I talked to him a few times too now since he's, accepted the job. So he called me, about 30 minutes after it happened. And then talked to him a few days ago too on FaceTime. When he was just sitting in the facility. So, it's been good to get to know him, and then I'm excited for next year.
Yeah, that had to be exciting for him, knowing that this just happened, and 30 minutes afterwards, you're obviously a priority. That has to feel good, and that has to send a message to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw it got announced, and then, obviously you're just waiting to hear, see if he wants you, stuff like that. So then, it was good to hear from him quick, and then obviously he reassured that, he still wants me there, and then he thinks I can fit in his system. So it was good to hear from him so quick.
Yeah, what you? Oh, there was no way. I mean, you're like I said, you've been playing extraordinarily well, and you'd fit in a lot of people's systems. I don't think you have to worry about that with your game going. But now, with all that behind, you've got the Chipotle to finish up. But as soon as that's over, you've got May, and then I guess you'll be reporting to IU in June.
Yeah, Chipotle is first week of April, and then down here, working out, finishing school up, and then graduate from here in the middle of May, and then go home, stay ready, keep working out, stuff like that, and then I think IU beginning of June.
What are some things you want to do when you get home? Non-basketball. Just I want to be Trent. I want to hang out. I want to go get whatever. Go to Santa Claus land or whatever is going on. What does Trent Sisley like to do to get away from it all?
Yeah, I think. Um, yeah, I think I just want to obviously just hang out with friends, stuff like that. See people I haven't seen a whole lot, throughout the past year. And I think we're taking a family vacation, so that'll be a fun, quick little vacation. Once my parents and stuff get out of school, and my sister and brother and stuff like that. So that should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with your parents. Your siblings are in college, but now you're reunited with them again. So you've been away from your brother and sister for a while, but now you guys will be together of sorts at school. Are either of them graduating yet?
No, both of my older siblings have one more year. So being up there next year with them should be fun.
So are they going to rookie razz you any?
I don't know. We'll see.
Especially your brother Blake. I mean, you're a freshman. He's got to give you the business, man. Come on.
Hey, we'll see.
Well, yeah, you're kind of big enough. I mean, you broke his records. He may not be happy about that. So, do you guys ever get a chance to play like just goofing around?
Yeah, we played a few times. Obviously, a lot growing up. He used to kill me just being bigger than me all the time. But I think that's helped me and made me tougher at the end of the day. And then, now when we play, I think I have the edge. So I beat him the last few times.
Well, that's always tough when little brother starts to take over, man. I'm telling you. But so now that you've got the Chipotle up next, then. Are you out of school at that point?
No, I think we finish up middle of May. So, just working out down here, staying on top of your game and until we graduate. And then, I get to IU up in, early June.
So you won't have a lot of time then if you're at school till mid-May. You guys got to squeeze it all in quick. It all comes fast, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
And then are you excited to see about the team that's going to come together? Obviously, Luke Goody is trying to get another year, and that would be good for the program if he could, obviously. And then, of course, Tucker DeVries. But the pieces that are going to be added here soon, are you excited to see who all is going to be filling those in?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, that's kind of the unknown for everyone right now. But I think Coach DeVries, he'll be able to, put a good team together, get some guys that he likes and, that can help us win next year.
What's the thing you're looking to most about getting to college, getting to IU?
Yeah, I think just obviously the basketball part of it for me, just being able to, win games in Assembly Hall and then, try and get IU basketball back where it needs to be.
Yeah. How important is that to you? I mean, you're a Southern Indiana guy. You are a Hoosier kind of guy through and through. How important is that? Because I know that your dad, your family grew up watching it and about the history, and to be a part of being able to bring that back would be pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up a fan. Paid close attention. And once I started getting recruited, you kind of got to take all that out of it for a little while. But, ended up committing there. So now it's, I can be part of that now too. And hopefully return it back to what it needs to be.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
I think Cody Zeller kind of has
big
to be.
Man, the big man.
Yeah. He's
the big handsome.
Yeah, from kind of close to me. Went to Washington. We played them there in our conference, last few years when I was at Heritage Hills. So, him just being from there and then obviously had a legendary career. So,
well, and he was a part of getting Indiana back from a bad place and back up to the top to a team that was actually ranked number 1 in the country. And if man, if you can be a part of that, let me tell you, the people will go crazy because the fans are just starving for I think a bunch of players like yourself and a team that will do what it takes to win, and they're looking forward to it. And I know you are as well. And you've got the next 3-4 years, who knows, of your life that's going to be a part of that. What's it like knowing that much of your life is kind of planned out?
Yeah, it's it's kind of surreal. Obviously, you grow up, and then for now that to be here, after committed, this fall, and then kind of play out this last year, and then now new coach, stuff like that. So it'll be super fun the next 4 years to be able to compete, in the Big Ten, and then hopefully in the NCAA tournament as well.
Absolutely, because you know that through your 4 years, the tournament will rotate through Indianapolis maybe a couple of times, which that would obviously be sweet to get to play in the NCAA tournament and at home. But period, it would be fun, as I know you're watching. Who do you have winning it this year? It's kind of cheating a little bit since we're already part of the way through, but I had Florida. I'm not gonna lie, I had Florida from the start. That was my team that I thought would win it.
Me too. One of my teammates is going to Florida. I'm pretty.
Oh yeah.
We're all pretty tight. So they got that 1 seed. And, they've been playing pretty well. So I do have Florida
I'm
too.
drawing a blank on his name.
Yeah, CJ Ingram.
Oh yeah. CJ. I got to speak with him down there, but Florida, man, they've looked good. But this entire NCAA tournament, college basketball has really gotten where everybody is almost equal. I mean, there are obviously some great teams, but it's going to be very tough playing teams from all over the place because teams, Iowa State, very good. Doesn't matter. They don't have to come from the blue bloods anymore. So we see these guys get knocked off, but it's been kind of chalky in this tournament. But who do you have in the Final Four?
Yeah, I think if I remember right, Michigan State maybe.
They've been playing surprisingly well, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the regions. I think I had Tennessee maybe.
Tennessee and Kentucky play this week.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Kentucky beat them twice, but it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and as they say. So we'll see. Well, man, I know that you have got plenty to get to. Probably got some studying to do, rest to get to, and everything else. I cannot tell you, as always, how much I appreciate you taking the time to spend with us, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you in April up at Hamilton Southeastern High School. Don't forget, people, April 2nd, you can go check him out and support Trent Sisley at Hamilton Southeastern as Montverde takes on Dynamic Prep at 6:15 on April 2nd. Appreciate you so much, Trent.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on again.
Thank you, buddy. It's always a pleasure. We've got lots more coming up here from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios. We're back with it right after these messages.